evening. Welcome to our live podcast or webinar this evening. First of all, I'd like to extend a massive welcome to you all and all the panel that we've got coming in this evening. We've got a great lineup of guests to come and talk to you about their experiences of IBYE, about being a young entrepreneur. So hopefully you'll get some great value from listening to some of their stories this evening. Just to tell you a little bit about IBYE, it's a fantastic competition for 18 to 35-year-olds. We're going to be hearing a little bit from the local enterprise office later. He'll tell you about some of the stipulations, about the criteria, how it works, when to apply, and so on. Tonight, obviously, because we're live online, we're expecting you guys to send in some questions because we've got a brilliant panel of people, so they'd love to hear from you. So anything you want to ask them to get a direct, honest answer from them, just use some of the social feeds that you'll be able to see below on the ticker at the bottom of the screen, and we'll get those asked to the guys straight away for you. There's also a prize on for this evening for the best question, so we'll be announcing that around 8:20. So if you submit your questions on social media, we'll be looking at those, and a winner will be awarded. And the prize is basically a half-day intensive mentoring session to either help you grow or to start your business in the first place. So it's a brilliant prize and well worth entering. So please start sending your questions in straight away for us. Tonight's show also, you'll see us kind of having different videos segmenting some of the conversations that we're having. And they're going to be different interviews with some of the finalists and, from the top 24 last year in 2018. So there's going to be loads happening in the next hour, so do stay tuned, and please do share the channel as well. Share it on all of your links, and we'll try and get as many people tuned in to hear all of these fantastic stories. So without further ado, I'm going to put you onto our first video just to see how our finalists in previous years have described IBYE in one word.
Fantastic. Thrilling. Awesome. Exciting. Opportunity.
Inspirational.
Transformational.
Outstanding.
Reaffirming.
Enjoyable.
Helpful.
Fruitful.
Roller coaster.
Game changer.
Energizing.
Invaluable.
Enlightening.
Perspective.
Finessing.
Great.
Rewarding.
Enjoyable.
Motivating.
Evolutionary.
Okay, welcome back. So first of all, I'm joined by my first guest, Cormac, who's someone I've known for a while now at this stage. Cormac runs a business called Activator, and he's also involved in Visit Carlingford as well. We're hoping that his business partner, Richard, will be joining us, but in true entrepreneurial fashion, he's flying his way down the road to try and join us this evening. So, Cormac, first of all, just tell us a little bit about Activator and what it is that you're doing.
Yeah, Activator is something that, well, it started as an idea about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Our business started in the tourism industry, and we're like a destination management company, and we could see constantly that businesses that exist there, like hotels, activity providers, events, there was no real way for each of them to communicate effectively and take bookings online.
Okay.
And it was very hard for our business to effectively take bookings online, because you always occurred with double bookings and customers complain about not being able to split the payments with each other. So with that, we tried lots of different software, and none of it seemed to fit our needs. So we built it ourselves.
Okay.
So
if you can't find it, then just make it yourself. Absolutely,
yeah.
yeah.
Buy it or build it, and we opted to build it because there was no other option.
Brilliant. So you were in the IBYE competition. I think both you and Richard have participated separately in the competition. So what impact did the competition have on you, your personal lives, your business lives? How did you find it?
At the beginning, when I went into IBYE, I was a bit apprehensive.
Yeah.
About the whole thing.
Why was that? What were you concerned about?
I just thought, to be fair, to be honest, I thought, like, a government program, we're going into this, they probably don't get the whole business thing.
Yeah.
But I was blown away because I was in a room with other people who were trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Build a business.
Like-minded people. Like,
exactly. Yeah. And the best thing I found about it was that when you're talking to other people there, the networking aspect. Every business deals with different problems in a day-to-day business.
Sure.
But the biggest thing you find is a lot of businesses share the same problems.
Yeah.
And with that, you're able to address, how did you solve that problem, and what was the best way around it?
Well, that's interesting, because I suppose in many ways you're all competing with each other. So there's there's the three categories, obviously, but you're all in many ways up against each other. So you still found that, despite that, kind of a supportive environment for you to be in.
Yeah, like, even though it's a competition, I think everyone realizes that life goes on after the competition.
Yeah.
And so
it's not life or death.
It's not life or death.
Yeah,
like, your business doesn't stop if you don't win.
Okay.
And that was very important for us. So I was generally very excited. I would come back every day and go through my notes. I was like, that's very intelligent way of doing things. That's a smart new way of looking at things.
Okay.
just the way of the planning boards and stuff like that, and something that we implemented in our own business every day. The biggest aspect was, even though it's a competition, I think everyone was willing to share and engage with everyone.
Yeah, well, that's brilliant. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm not going to try and put you on the spot now or anything, but I'm interested to know from the boot camp. It's obviously a fairly intense process. You're all stuck in a room together. You've got to get past that initial getting to know each other, build up trust, and teach it as a learning exercise too.
Yeah.
So, what were the kind of the main messages that you took from the boot camp? What were the main kind of things that you learned from participating?
I suppose the biggest thing that I took away from it was planning effectively, and maintaining with our own customers a good relation with that, because a lot of businesses tend to focus on bad customers and stuff like that, and they end up just slowly hurting their own business. It's a big thing. So with that, it was the planning aspect and how important it is, and to plan forward. And it's all well and good having a plan, but you have to make it a target as well, and actually proactively try and get those targets all the time, or else you end up just working for your business as opposed to driving your business, which tends to happen to a lot of people.
I suppose as well, and from myself talking to different people running businesses, being self-employed can be quite a lonely experience, and you often don't know whether you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing, and even just the idea that being an entrepreneur sometimes is often viewed as a bit of a disconnect, and you just think, I'm just starting a business, I'm just trying to do something for myself. You think entrepreneur, you think Richard Branson or people like that. So, how do you identify with that tag of being an entrepreneur? Because you've been involved in serial businesses. So does that fit comfortably with you, or do you just think you're a normal person just trying to get on with your life?
I was asked that question recently enough, and I still don't have an effective answer for it.
Good. Well, I'm glad that's an excellent question to ask you.
I suppose the best way to look at it was that, I work for a lot of different companies, and I never felt I fit it properly, because a lot of big companies tend to be more bureaucratic, and it gets harder to, sometimes your message gets lost, and you generally don't feel like you're being heard. And so I just decided one day, to take the leap with that. But I think the biggest thing with being an entrepreneur, and I don't like the term either, I suppose it's self-employed, whatever you want to do, dreamer is another one. But
so how old were you when you started your first business? Because you had a web agency, or you still maybe do have a web agency.
Yeah, we do. We still have a web and marketing agency, which is a critical part of our own businesses. But I started when I was about 18 or 19.
Wow.
Trying, and from there, it's just kind of spiraled. And I was always trying to start new ideas and push new ideas. And
so this has been in you from a very young age, then.
I suppose it has. Yeah. I suppose the biggest difficulty of being an entrepreneur is getting people who aren't entrepreneurs. They get it hard to understand, why you're always on the phone, or can you not switch your phone off? And it's like, I don't have that opportunity to do that. And I suppose that's another thing I learned in IBYE is that you must balance life and business. It's very important, and that's something I struggle with every single day. And I fear that if I don't take a call, I could lose the golden deal. So it's just one of them things. I suppose it's just driving on the business every single day and hoping that eventually it clicks, but being smart about it and taking note of what isn't working and what is working.
Very good. You'll notice there's a shadowy figure joined us in the background. It's nice to see you've colour coordinated your dress code this evening.
I'm just looking at that.
So thanks for joining us, Richard. I know you've been hot foot from Carlingford to join us here. Just tell us very briefly about Visit Carlingford and what you've been doing there over the last few years.
Yeah, so Visit Carlingford is accommodation activity provider in the area. So we're like an agent that you can book packages through, accommodation, activities, meals. We put packages together. We work with a lot of businesses in the area, not only in Carlingford but in Cooley, Omeath, a couple of activity providers across the border as well. So we incorporate packages, and whether it's a family, a group, a party, whatever it might be coming to the area, we have all the information you need when booking.
So how did you start that? Like, that doesn't seem like an obvious business to start, like a cake shop or a food business or a restaurant or whatever. Like, they're all food businesses, I've just realised. Like, why did you pick that? It seems kind of unusual.
Yeah, well, I was working in Carlingford at the time, came out of college and out of school, into college, and needed a part-time job, and I was working in the village in one of the local businesses, and I just had people always coming up to me and asking, where can we do this, or who can we contact for that? So I was thinking to myself, why do these people not know this, considering that they're in Carlingford already?
Yeah, sure.
So came up with the idea of creating, went online, saw that there was a gap in the market for like a website for information for people when they come, the likes of activities or accommodation. Put it together, got talking to Cormac, who was a website designer at the time, and pitched my idea to him. He had something very similar, actually. thinking in his head. So we put the two of them together and came up with Visit Carniford, and it just kind of grew from there.
So how does, like, because obviously you're two self-employed people, but you work together on projects and so on. So how do you find that relationship? Because I mean, I know you both quite well, and you're very different people, but you've got kind of a shared interest. How do you find working together? Is the way that you manage that between the two of you, or do you have clearly defined job roles, or do you just kill each other all the time?
No, sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
For me personally, we're very different personalities. I will tell you that. But we complement each other, and I suppose we both have the same vision and goal of what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think Richard has his strong points and something he's very good at, and vice versa for me, and I know what I'm not good at. So with that, it's acknowledging that fact, and I suppose driving forward from there.
I think that's a really interesting point, because I think sometimes we're always focused on being self-employed about all the skills we need to have and going on all these courses and programs to try and upskill in every different area. But actually, you've made a really good point there. It's probably just as important to know what you're not good at too, so you don't get drawn into kind of low value activities.
Yeah. And spending your time definitely on stuff that you are quite good at.
Yeah.
When it comes to the website stuff, I leave that to him. I wouldn't barely know how to turn on a laptop.
Okay.
But when it comes to the managing and bookings and phone calls and emails, I do that sort of side of things and meeting people, whereas he does all the kind of techie, drawing, artisty stuff. So social media.
Social media, yeah. That's good to know. Hopefully you're sharing a few comments and things tonight as well. So that's really interesting. So how do you make decisions in the business? Do you guys have to do you have formal meetings, or is it very informal? You just literally on the mobile, on the hop all the time?
No, we do have meetings. We try to at least have one a week, where the four of us in the business sit down, the two other guys that work for us as well, sit down, plan out the week or plan out the month or whatever it might be, but at least try to have one a week. And then the bigger decisions is obviously made by myself and Cormac, but it's considering we're mostly in the office together, it's pretty easily done.
So what do you see? Obviously, you've got a technology product, you've got a business which depends heavily on technology. What do you see as the biggest challenges for you both in the next few months? Obviously, there's a changing dynamic in the economy and stuff at the moment. Like, what are you working on? What's your main focus?
I suppose the main focus for us is trying to we have a business product that there's thousands of them out there, and I suppose it's educating the customer on it isn't that.
Yes.
That's a difficult product to get out there, but for us it's getting other providers onto the system as well. For us, that's on the Activator side, and I suppose the Visit Carniford side is growing more customers as well.
So your aim is to really keep going with the two businesses, not to split them off or to be quieter and everything. It sounds like you're determined to grow both of them just as aggressive.
One nearly complements the other, because Activator is a software system that we need for Visit Carniford, the way things are going, but also develop it.
I suppose, like the big thing for us, I suppose, would be expanding, and there was always the plan to expand the Visit brand in different areas, consolidate that information for people when they come, and let them easily book it. And the biggest issue, I suppose, that we've always had is that in the tourism industry, every business is a tourist office, kind of, and a lot of businesses there will spend a lot of time advising customers on where to go to enjoy their time, or where else to stay if they're booked out. And it's a fragmented approach for the customer. The customer suffers, and the business is now able to, with our software, is able to basically do what we do on a daily business, quickly, fast, and the customer gets paid, the businesses get paid, everyone's happy, and the customers are enjoying the experience of being wherever they are.
Absolutely. We've actually got a question coming in now. So the question's from Amy, and the question is, what do you love most about being your own boss? You can answer that, Richard, first of all.
Being my own boss, just being able to make decisions for myself, instead of having to answer to somebody else. Someone has to answer to me, but not just that, but being able to have the freedom to make them choices, and to be able to go to somebody and say, I have an issue or I have a problem, and working with them instead of being told what to do. Getting up in the morning knowing that you're going to work for yourself. It's a great feeling, because at the end of the day, as people say, the buck stops at you, but also when you do something well, it feels great.
You get the full reward of
exactly.
That, And how would you answer that question? What do you love about being your own boss?
It's a different type of freedom. It's a different type of freedom. Absolutely. I would agree with everything Richard said. I suppose it's the idea that every time, like, I love the aspect that we're growing the business and we're employing more people. And that gives me great pride, that
absolutely,
we're doing something else. And every time we have a customer, it's a customer that it's our customer. We're growing, it's our business.
Brilliant.
And I suppose there's a bit of a pride issue there with it. It's huge. So pride's a big thing for me, and it's freedom. I suppose. Freedom.
That's brilliant. Lads, thanks so much. Really appreciate you both coming in. Richard, thanks for,
Apologies
risking
for
life and
being
limb
late.
to make it across. So we're just going to cut now to a video. This is around what do young entrepreneurs need, and how has IBYE challenged you in the past? And then we'll come back after that segment.
I think for young entrepreneurs, it's important they go to their local enterprise office. When I went to my local enterprise office, I received invaluable advice to develop my idea into a business.
I think a young entrepreneur needs a good mentor, someone who has experience in that field and has potentially scaled a business both nationally and internationally. A young entrepreneur can learn a huge amount from the mistakes already made by their mentor.
I think young entrepreneurs really need industry-specific advisors, people who can help them to allow their business to thrive and show them what supports are available to them.
I think when starting out, especially as a young entrepreneur, financial help is very important, but help from mentors and advisors can be invaluable because there might be unforeseen skills gaps that they can fill and help you move your business forward in the right direction.
Young entrepreneurs need access to sound advice from experienced entrepreneurs who have already turned their ideas into businesses, and they need access to funding in order to make it all a reality.
I think the best piece of advice that I could give is to really surround yourself with the right people. Find those mentors and those trusted network and advisors that are going to really help you sidestep some of those mistakes that you can make in the early days.
The mentoring and guidance from the IBYE process has from the very outset challenged me to carefully consider every aspect of my business and business plan so that I can refine exactly how I'm going to deliver upon my vision.
IBYE has given us the opportunity to forensically examine every element of our business, something we probably wouldn't have done otherwise.
IBYE has been great for our business. It has made me stop working for the business and focus on working on the business.
IBYE has helped our business in that. It has given us an opportunity to look back on what we've achieved over the last 3 years, assess where we are today and build our future growth plans.
IBYE has allowed us to think critically about our business and set new goals for future growth.
Okay, welcome back. Thank you very much for staying tuned. And remember, keep your questions coming. We've got a fantastic prize of an intensive half-day's mentoring for the best question asked tonight, so please keep those coming. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined now by Cheryl Malone, who, I'm going to let Cheryl tell you all about her business and so on, but we met, was it last year or was it 2 years?
2016.
2016 on the IBYE competition. So Cheryl, just tell everyone watching, what is your business, what do you do?
So my business, I started it back in 2005,
okay,
and it's a vocational dance training academy. So we do everything from ballet, acrobatics, contemporary dance. But I suppose the one thing that sets us apart from any other, what you would say, competition is that we're a government accredited organisation.
Okay.
So our students actually gain qualifications that help them, say, when they're applying to university.
Okay.
So parents are not just investing in a hobby, but they're actually helping their children progress and develop their educational portfolio as well.
Okay.
So I always use the tagline that we are educating and empowering the youth.
Brilliant.
And I also say as well, my personal tagline is taught through a mother's eyes. I'm a mummy,
okay,
and it's one of the things I'm really proud of. And I think within my team, we've really cultivated a sense of community, and we really value that people send their children to us and that they entrust us to mentor and guide the children. Because some people might say, oh, a dance academy, but the skills that they learn under our guidance, it's just phenomenal.
It's not just, as I said, not just about the dancing, is it?
No, there's skills that they carry with them through life. For example, look at me sitting here now today. Never in a million years did my mummy think when she put me in a pair of ballet shoes and a tutu that I'd be sitting and doing this. But you learn so much when they go to interview for a job, for college. They're learning life skills, discipline, determination, and it's fantastic.
So how do you find, you've got a lot on your plate there between the dance academy and being a mum as well. So how do you juggle those two roles? Is it difficult?
Well, I would have to say I'm blessed. Grandparents are amazing.
Yeah.
But I think my daughter's such a part of the studio now. I'm so lucky. You have to be awesome at time management.
Yeah.
And I'm at a point now in my business where I'm actually working on the business as opposed to working in it. So I've sculpted time in my schedule to have that family time. So I have 2 days a week that I will not work, and that is mommy-daughter time.
Brilliant.
Because I think that's important. But, you know, being an entrepreneur, it is hard work. You're sitting up until the little hours of the morning, maybe getting back up again, 6 a.m. to finish off what you didn't get finished at 2 a.m. the night before. But when you have drive and passion and you love what you do, it's totally worth it. And when you see the rewards, from I did the competition, we doubled our intake number. Like, we've over 400 students.
Amazing. And
we're now it was actually funny when we did that business plan back in 2016. I had a 2019 goal to open a secondary location, and we've actually put that into action, and we're about to open a new premises in 8 weeks.
So we've breaking news. I love a bit of breaking news. That's great.
Do you like that little pitch?
Absolutely, yeah.
That was very slick. Every opportunity that comes your way.
Very slick. So just tell us quickly so where are you opening up?
So we're opening up in Carrickmacross. Yeah. So it's about 16 miles from Dundalk, but it's sort of been a project of love in the making about a year now. Yeah. We got the same feedback coming back, that customers loved the school, loved the ethos, but the journey in those winter months was a little bit laborious, especially if they had like a young family or siblings, doing other activities. So we did a lot of research and we decided to bite the bullet. We know that what we provide is exceptional, and we thought, why not share that with another county?
I suppose when you're looking back as well, like you're looking in hindsight and you can see all of the advantages of being self-employed. It's complementing your life. It's enhanced your life by in every way, it sounds. Why do you think people, people watching at home might be thinking, oh, well, I could never do what Cheryl's done? Or why do you think people don't do that?
Don't be fooled. Like, it's not easy. Like, I've gone through a divorce. I have been like at the bottom with my business, but being dedicated and being true, it's really about if you have that passion. Like, I was brought up in a family of entrepreneurs. My brother's an entrepreneur. My father was an entrepreneur. So really, from I could walk, I was always on the phone with my telephone voice and, at promotional gigs, seeing how many people we could get to come to our stand.
Just the way you were brought up.
It was how I was brought up. And my dad always instilled in us, you can put anything you put your mind to, you can do it. And I love that phrase, that a goal, if it's not written down, is only a dream. Yeah. So you've got to have those goals. Like, I have my goals like in the pull down visor of my car. I have them like in my purse, in my wallet, in my cooking stand in the kitchen, and like I set my goals every year. Yeah. And then it's lovely at the end of the year to sit there and tick them off.
Brilliant.
And it is hard work. But if you're committed to whatever your service or your product is, if you believe in yourself, and I totally believe in what my business is about, and I think that's why my business has expanded the way it has.
So we've actually got 2 questions coming online now. So the first one is, it's from Colum. When you start out in business, how did you learn to, because obviously you're dependent on a team now, as you say.
Yes.
So how did you learn to delegate and trust other people to help you run your business?
I think that is a massive learning curve, and you never really stop learning how to micromanage your team. So when I entered Entrepreneur of the Year, I only had one admin person working for me. Right. And I can remember sitting up, it was like blood, sweat and guts doing that business plan, maybe to like 4 a.m. going, why am I doing this? I need somebody working for me. I need a PA. Yeah. Now I have a team of 8, and we're about to take on a 9th person. And what you do is, I have gone through, yes, I've had many employees who have stayed loyal to us. I have had some that have gone to find their own passion and their own vision. I think the key thing learning to delegate is learning how to read people. Yeah. And if they share that same vision that you have, and
so you're looking for someone with the same mindset as you.
The same mindset, the same priorities. Yeah. So you get to learn very quickly, that person who comes in and walks out that door at a minute to finish time, and then that person that stays on the extra 2 minutes after just to finish the job, you learn very quickly how to read people. But when you're managing a team, you do have to keep that professional boundary.
Absolutely.
That's really important.
It's easy to get over that line, isn't it, sometimes?
It is.
I've got another question here for you. We've got from Mary. So obviously we know that you didn't actually win the IBYE competition, but are you still glad that you went? Like in hindsight, looking back, are you glad you entered?
I think I'm probably one of the only people here tonight who actually didn't win. But what I learned from the experience, it was phenomenal. And anybody who decides to enter, you know, quote me on these 2 words, audible and times 10. So the 2 things I took from it was keep educating yourself, never stop. Read, use every resource that is available. And that's one thing. My team, we've formed some really strong links with the Leo office. And the staff do the training that come up. I'm involved in new projects that are happening. It's really so important to just keep educating yourself, and the mentoring that you receive is fantastic. You know, like I learned so many things that I implement now, and that's part of the reason why my business has grown, what I took from my time in 2016 from the competition.
So it sounds like it was a really, like, regardless, it's almost like, why wouldn't you get involved? Why wouldn't you put yourself forward?
You know, like, put yourself forward, take whatever criticisms come your way, because at the end of the day, you know, we're not made of glass. Whatever you learn, it makes you stronger, it makes you better. And if you want to succeed and continue to be an entrepreneur, you have to keep pushing the boundaries and learning from anybody who will help. You know, it really is. It's instrumental in growing your business and surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
I think when I think back to the time that we spent on the course together, I think one of the things which made me always stood out about you, Cheryl, is you've got this incredible attitude and enthusiasm. It's really infectious when we meet you. It's always like, oh, you know straight away you've walked into the room. It's fantastic. So, like, I've just got one. I suppose, is there one thing that you kind of do to keep your motivation and your attitude strong? Do you have like a routine, or is there anything that you do every day that helps keep you so positive?
I do. I'm a real big yogi and meditation, and I take half an hour. I call it a miracle morning. And I get up at 6 a.m. and I take from 6 a.m. to 6:30. I do my meditation. I set up my intention for the day. And I just take that time to gather my thoughts, because, you know, what's that phrase that they say? Fail to plan. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I do. It keeps me calm. It gives me head space to take on whatever the day will throw. And I like counting backwards from 10. That works awesome as well.
Absolutely. Cheryl, it's so good to see you here again, and it's great to catch up, and it's brilliant to hear your business is thriving as you would expect it would do. So thank you so much for joining us. We're going to just cut to another video now. This is last year's winner, Conor O'Loughlin, talking about his experience of IBYE.
Competition. It's so well run, and it has great national exposure, and it gives you an international validation as well. You know, shows that your company has won a promise and one for the future, and the IBYE competition has definitely helped in positioning in that. Someone should enter Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur because it's a great process, and just by surrounding yourself with other entrepreneurs, going through the boot camps, and then finally having the finals, it was great to kind of get a little bit of a helicopter view of what you've achieved, and I found it to be a fantastic process and a fantastic journey. Enter the competition with an open mind and try and enjoy the process. I think one of the best things about the competition is the fact that it integrates this network of entrepreneurs, approaching it from the point of view of using that network as best you can, and, you know, using it as a time to get a very reflective thoughts on where your business has come and where you want it to go for the next few years. It's a good timing to do that and to really just understand your business's vision and mission and what you're setting out to do. Yeah, they were great, especially at the early stage where you're very new to the process and you're trying to navigate a lot of things for the first time, and particularly in terms of, you know, grants and positioning your business plans and access to capital and recruitment. You know, they help by giving you a lot of the templates and access to resource and access to people that are good support and guidance on that journey. yourself with the right people. Getting the right people on the bus is the number one most important thing you can do in building a company. Enjoyable.
Hi, welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. So just to remind you, we've got an amazing prize of that half-day mentoring session that's going to help you either start or grow your business. So make sure those questions keep coming into us, and the best question this evening will get picked around 25 past 8. So I'm now joined by Sarah Mallon and Thomas McAvoy, who are from the local enterprise office. So these are important people in terms of the programme. First of all, I'm just going to go to Sarah. Sarah, tell us just a bit about the nuts and bolts. So how do people apply? How do they enter? What's the closing date? That kind of thing.
Okay. First of all, to apply, there's a simple application form. If you go to www.ibye.ie, and there's an application form there, it will probably take you about 10-15 minutes to complete at an absolute max. Okay. And you need to do it in one sitting. That's something to remember, because it doesn't save if you go back into it again. It's just some key details about yourself and your business, whether it be an idea, your startup, information about what your goals are, and it's quite a simple form to complete. And once that's submitted, it comes into me, and I then acknowledge your application, and then from that, everybody who applies will be invited to an enterprise day, which is going to be held on the 23rd of March in Louth this year. So all the applicants get invited to that. There's a little bit of information about refining your business idea, your pitch, and you get to talk to myself, and Thomas will be there, and yourself, and just to, because what's very important is you can see an application form when it comes in. Yeah. Once you meet the people, I think you learn a little bit more about the business. And after the 23rd of March, then we'll be shortlisting. So we'll probably take about 15 through to the boot camp, which is going to be held in the last weekend of March. And as I said, we'll be taking people through from the 3 categories. There's a best idea. So if you just have an idea and something that you're not too sure about, or something you've done a little bit of research and want to develop a bit more, your best startup if you're trading under 18 months, and then the best established if you're over 18 months. So on
the best idea category, these people don't need to have loads of business experience or anything like that. They could literally be sat on the couch, go, I've always had this business idea, and they can go and apply.
Absolutely, and it helps them figure out if it is viable, and the process that you go through. By the end of it, they might decide, no, that's not going to work out, and they might find something else that came out of that idea and then develop it from there. So I don't think, I've never met anyone that's found it a wasted process to actually take part in the competition, even if it is an idea.
It's a bit like what Cheryl was saying as well. When you start writing things down, they can become more realistic as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So, Thomas, can I just cut to you? So why does this competition matter, Thomas?
Well, this is about the state trying to support young businesses and young people, and it's taking a different approach. Okay. So 20 years ago, when I started in this game, people put on a suit, they went in to meet you in an office, but the world has moved on. Yeah. And really what we're trying to do is work with young people, work in the way that they work. It embraces the whole online community, and it's about the government and the state trying to invest in the future and the future of businesses on younger people's terms. I suppose the world is moving on, and we're trying to move on with it.
That's brilliant. So we're meeting people where they're at in the kind of the modern economy, as it were. That's brilliant. So
and the whole idea is that if we work with them, we help them with their business plan. We help through boot camps, and hopefully that helps them become more innovative, better businesses, create employment, create exports, and that's good for everybody.
Very good. So we catch people nice and early, and we hopefully keep them in the system from there on. So that's brilliant. So Sarah, just one last question. What's your favourite part about being the coordinator for this competition? Because obviously, apart from the pleasure of working with me, obviously, what's your other favourite elements to it?
Well, I talk about making you feel old, this program, but I actually feel like a proud mother here tonight, nearly because I've worked with so many of the guests that are here this evening, and you do. You see people come in, and from the very start, and they're quite shy, and they're quite, the first morning until they get to know each other, and you see how they blossom, and then they go on and they develop, and you watch their businesses and how they move on and they expand, and then they maybe come back into the Leo, and they maybe get different support, financial supports, and it's just, I'm in awe of the ideas that they come up with, and their energy and their enthusiasm. It's good for the soul. But
exactly,
they're
incredible
really is.
People.
Absolutely, and I learned so much about new types of businesses. Yeah. People that come in with ideas, didn't even know that that existed. So it's educational for us too as an organisation.
That's brilliant.
You know.
So, guys, that's really helpful. Thank you so much. We're just going to cut to another video now. This is about the learning experience that the finalists last year had when they went to Google HQ, and we've actually a couple of the people attending this evening actually had that experience, got to meet the Taoiseach and had an incredible experience there on that day. So we're going to cut to a video there and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Hi, welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. And don't forget, we've got an amazing prize tonight to win a half-day's intensive mentoring. So get all your questions into us and I'll ask them over to the guys on the panel. So without further ado, we're joined by Niamh O'Neill, fashion designer extraordinaire, and Nikki Reddy, who's entrepreneur extraordinaire in terms of all the different businesses she's involved in. So first of all, guys, you want to just tell us a little bit about the businesses that you run? We'll start with you, Niamh.
Okay, so I'm Niamh O'Neill and my brand name is Niamh O'Neill. I'm a fashion designer and I have a women's wear brand. We create innovative and vibrant clothing for women. It's clothing that's more for events and occasions that women will attend. And we sell in boutiques and retail stores throughout the country and then worldwide through our online store.
Amazing, that's brilliant. And Nikki, tell us a little bit about Celtic Adventures.
So Celtic Adventures is the business me and my husband Dave run together.
Okay.
We have a centre in Clotterhead and we have a brand new centre opening up in Kells, and we also do a range of on-site school activities in schools all over Ireland.
Very good. So you're nationwide at this stage.
We are indeed, yeah.
Very good. So, Niamh, can I just go to you first of all? So obviously you were both you were both winners. You got through to the national final. Did you think you could win when you entered the competition, or was it kind of like a surprise to you that you got that far?
No, I didn't. The year I entered was the first time, so I was just kind of curious about the competition. It said, "Are you between 18 and 30? You know, do you have your own business? Are you thinking about starting your own business?" And I was kind of like, yeah, I'm both of those things. I'm just curious about this. I'll apply and see what happens. So no, absolutely not. And I was kind of, when I applied, I was a bit apprehensive that the other people might be way farther on than I was. So I definitely didn't think that I'd get into the national final.
Yeah. So Nikki, did you have the same experience? Were you kind of thinking, because were you in the IBYE twice, were you? Or
I was. The first year I came runner-up in the county stage, and then last year then I got to nationals. So I suppose the first year, it was, like Cheryl said, it was more about like what we got from the boot camp, the mentoring, like those, it was that, and then winning was kind of a surprise. I suppose there's so many different businesses and all at different stages, so like it's just...
It can be quite daunting, can't it? Because you walk into the room, and I experience it myself, you kind of walk in and you go, oh my God, like they must be miles ahead of me, or they must be really good at this or really good at that. And we do have a tendency, I guess, sometimes to kind of minimize ourselves a little bit and minimize our achievements. But hopefully that kind of the process gives you the kind of confidence, if you like, to carry forward. We've actually got a question from Blaine come in there on social media, which just says, I don't know who wants to answer this, but is there a best way to actually prepare for the boot camp?
Not really, I suppose. Just go in with an open mind and take as much from it as you can.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you can really prepare for it. Well, when I entered, I was a fashion designer going in and felt more like an entrepreneur coming out.
Yeah, okay.
So I think you just go in with what you have, and then the boot camp will mold you or your business. So I don't really think you can prepare, but you'll be don't worry, you'll have lots of work to do during it.
So, like, obviously, like, you're a designer, you're supremely talented, you create this fabulous range of clothing which you're selling nationally, so there's loads going on there. Is that what you wanted to do at school, or this has been like your lifelong dream, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, it has been my lifelong dream. I just always wanted to be a fashion designer, and I wanted to have my own brand, but I kind of thought more like a fashion designer, and I would just design clothes and put them out there, but I didn't know what put them out there meant.
Okay.
So I had to learn how to be an entrepreneur. I was a fashion designer. I went to university to do that, but the entrepreneurial end of things, like the business end of things, was a completely different ball game, and I had to learn that as I went along.
So did you find that quite unsettling? You're kind of coming at it from a very creative point of view with your clothing. Did you find then going into this boot camp and having to do business plans and pitch and present and all those kind of, did you find that difficult, or?
Yeah, I found it really challenging. But the best thing I got from the boot camp was we did a lot. You have to present your business.
Yeah.
And I thought I could present it, but I really couldn't. And I had to tear down what I thought I could do and kind of build it back up again. And now those presentation skills that I got in the boot camp have served me so well in business meetings and different presentations I've had to make later on.
Very good. So Nikki, I know you've got like a really busy life. Do you feel like you've had to miss out on anything because of being self-employed? Do you feel like there's parts of your life which you haven't fulfilled or enjoyed because of it, or can you just not imagine life without your business and your family and all that kind of stuff going on?
I think in my situation, like, they're just so intermingled that it's like, we get to spend a lot of time with our kids, so as part of it, so it's all kind of the one.
It's all kind of blended.
Yeah, the business is the sixth child, kind of. Yeah.
That's good. That's actually a good way of putting it. So is this what you were planning to do at school? Did you ever kind of imagine, I just want to be self-employed? A bit like Niamh kind of said, this is my mission in life. Did you have that, or was this kind of like just evolved?
It just evolved. I suppose my husband, he was kind of the self-employed person, and he set it up originally, and then as it grew, then I came on board.
So what would you say, what are the biggest changes you've had to make to your business over the last few years as you've kind of grown and diversified, if you like? What are the big changes you've had to make yourself?
We've had to learn a lot, I suppose. Like, it grew from just having 10 canoes to having now 2 centres, and then like the whole mobile aspect of it. Yeah. So it's just, you have to learn a lot of things about like HR, accounting, all these other things that go hand in hand with running your own business.
I think that's one of the things, I don't know whether you both agree with this, but I think sometimes when you meet people pre-self-employment, there's a massive worry about taxation, or there's a massive worry about those things, HR, managing people, and it kind of becomes a reason not to become self-employed, because you think, I can't do all of those things. Would you agree that you kind of, it's okay to learn that as you're going along? Like, you don't have to be an expert in everything.
Yeah, nobody is an expert in everything, and I certainly, when I came to starting my business, I was an expert in the creative end of it, but not in the other ends. But that's where the Leo comes in. Their supports are there when you're starting. They'll help you with the bits that you're not quite as good at.
Yeah.
And there are supports around you, so you don't have to start all by yourself.
Yeah. That's an incredibly slick plug for the Leo there. That was very well segued in. That's excellently well done. So what's the upside of being involved in IBYE from your point of view, Nikki? Is there a thing you can put your finger on and say that's the main thing?
It just really makes you knuckle down and focus on your business. The whole from boot camp to doing your business plan, pitching your business then to the judges, and then even if you win that stage, you have to go and do it all over again for the regionals and then again for the nationals. So it does. It really makes you work on your business and start looking at it differently.
So it's a bit of discipline, a bit of focus and attention.
Yeah.
What would you say the big upside for you, Niamh, was from the whole experience?
The biggest upside, as I said, was the presentation skills. I just think the skills that you learn in boot camp, you'll remember those things way after the money is spent and the boot camp is over and the whole, the process is over. You'll remember the skills that you learned during the boot camp, and you'll use them much longer after.
And I'm just interested for you both, because you both went to Google HQ and experienced that kind of amazing kind of event, and you met the Taoiseach and so on. Like, did it feel kind of otherworldly, or was it kind of fun, or like what was that? Because you're obviously then meeting like 23 other top entrepreneurs in the country. Was that really daunting, or was it actually just a good laugh?
It was very different to the county and the regionals, I suppose, because you had kind of a friendship with the other people, kind of.
After the boot camp.
And then kind of at regionals it was a bit more, whoa.
Everyone's eyeing each other up. Okay. Did you find the same thing?
It was definitely much more of an event because your family were there as well, and but it was it's a really lovely experience, and you feel proud of yourself for having gone through the process and maybe going further than you thought you would. It's a lovely feeling. It's really, there's no bad aspects to it.
That's brilliant. It's brilliant to talk to you, and I know your business are both thriving, so it's fantastic to see the continued success you've both had. So it's brilliant that you're here today just to share your story. So thank you both so much. We're just going to watch a video now on what difference the investment made to the people that were involved in the IBYE from 2018, and also we're going to look at a video around how they've benefited from IBYE too.
The IBYE investment will really help us put Frankly on the map. It'll help us launch our first product, and most importantly, it'll help us create jobs in the Northwest.
The IBYE investment has helped us install soil temperature monitors in every county of Ireland as part of our national soil programme.
The IBYE investment and mentoring has been invaluable to Hearty Nutrition in helping to grow and scale our business.
The investment and mentoring will amplify our business development, allowing us to fast-track critical opportunities in the export market.
The investment and mentoring from Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur has solidified my determination and has helped to expand our workshop to meet our rapidly growing market demand.
IBYE and the local enterprise office in Galway have provided phenomenal support in terms of mentoring, pitch presentation improvement and key financial supports.
IBYE has helped us to write a robust business plan that will enable us to take Access Earth global.
IBYE has given me the platform to enable me to turn my idea into a real business.
The IBYE investment has allowed Osteform to hire a new staff member to help drive our business forward and get our product to market as soon as possible.
For me starting out, it was really inspiration from other entrepreneurial role models, as seeing is believing. I hope that by taking part in this competition, I inspire other female entrepreneurs.
IBYE has allowed us to focus on working on our business rather than in our business.
Ireland's Best Young Entrepreneur has helped us give a better understanding of how our company finances should be structured.
Taking part in the IBYE programme has helped Collect go from a national to an international business.
Aye, that's great. Thanks so much for staying tuned. Hopefully you're enjoying the interviews and meeting some of these amazing young entrepreneurs. Just to remind you, we've got an amazing half-day intensive mentoring session. If you're thinking about starting your business, you've got a business, it's an amazing, amazing price. There's like a full half day of mentoring just to work with you and on your business. So get those questions coming in. I get them directly in front of me as soon as you've asked them, and I'll ask them to the panel, and then you could win that amazing prize. So I'm absolutely delighted now to be joined by Evelyn Garland, superstar entrepreneur from Simply Fit Food. Now, Evelyn, I've to ask you about this because some people have entered the competition once, some people have entered the competition twice, but for some reason, you've now entered for 3 times. So either you're a complete lunatic or you get something positive out of the experience each time. So just tell us why you're back again.
Yeah, well, we're slightly obsessed with IBYE at Simply Fit Food. It's funny because it's a little bit like how our business has gone, the way IBYE has gone for us. So year 1, very similar to Neve. We kind of entered with very limited expectations, I suppose, because we weren't exactly sure what we wanted from the business. And I suppose as we saw other companies come in, we learned a huge amount from them. We learned a huge amount about what we wanted from the business, about our key takeaways in terms of what we were actually good at in the business, how we can divide it equally amongst each other, focus on things we're good at and focus on and not focus on things that we are bad at. And I suppose from then, year 2, we were able to establish then we had our set in stone business plan in terms of where we were going to take the business for the next 5 years. And I suppose the platform that IBYE allowed us to do that was, give the business the marketing and the promotional capabilities to bring it to the next level. Okay. So the mentoring that we received in year 2, we were able to utilize a lot better because we knew exactly where we were targeting.
You had a bit more clarity about what you were trying to do.
Yeah. Okay. And I suppose even going into this is our 3rd year now, we've entered it. We really have hit the nail on the head in terms of what we plan on doing with Simply Fit Food into the future. And we hope that the mentoring we receive this year, if we were looking to get that far, will be implemented in a completely different way than the last 2 years.
Okay, brilliant. So you're kind of, as your business is progressing and growing, you're looking for different things each time as you enter the program. So obviously I have to ask you, what is your business? And just tell us a little bit about Simply Fit Food and where it started and where it's at now.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster to say the least. So we started back in September 2016. We launched back then it was an online meal delivery company. Hadn't a clue, being honest, about websites, anything like that, but sure, if we had known that, we would never have been where we are today. So
you literally
positive.
Just dove into it without really knowing what you were doing.
Okay.
So
just for the crack,
why did you do that? Like, what gave you the confidence to think you could get away with it?
My parents always say I'm really determined with anything I put my mind to. Luke is very similar. He's from an entrepreneurial background. Me, not so much, but when someone says I can't do something, I will 100% do it and do it 3 times over. So that's probably of benefit in this case. But really, one of the main things that we wanted to get from Simply Fit Food, it wasn't anything to do with revenue, anything to do with turnover, although it's a positive when it comes down to business. It was really to help create better lives for people and make an impact on people's health and well-being, which is something that relates personally back to why our company began. Because Luke was diagnosed with a heart condition in January 2016. Really, it was life-threatening, and we wanted to do something about it. And we knew there were so many other people in a position like ours, and we decided to take it to that next level and create something from a problem like that.
Well, that's in a way you've answered the question there, because it's more than just a business for you, isn't it? Like, there's this very clear personal drive for both of you to make a difference, to have an impact. Do you feel that kind of sustains you in more difficult times? Because obviously it's not just a smooth line to growth.
No.
So you find that, does that purpose kind of give you great, all right, we've had a bad day or we've had a bad week, but here we go, we still got this thing to do?
Yeah, like in any business, and I suppose everyone else that's spoken here this evening will tell you, you've probably got more bad times than good. And especially across social media, like I know across our social media, all you see is the good things, because that's what social media is there for, to portray the good, not the bad. But in any case, we always have bad times, but we have to always reflect and look how far we've come. And I suppose the reasons why we have come so far is because the amount of mistakes that we've made. And I think if we hadn't have made mistakes, we wouldn't have gotten so far as where we are today, because if we see that mistake happening potentially at the end of the line again, we'll know not to go there because it's already previously happened. So for anyone who's afraid of making mistakes, please don't. They're the best thing that will ever happen to you.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Like, you often hear people are afraid of failure or afraid of making mistakes, but you're saying that's actually nearly the most important thing, is to make mistakes.
100%. And it goes back to even before we started Simply Fit Food. Like, I was in a job that I hated and I was completely failing at, and it was a company producing a product that I didn't believe in and I was trying to sell, and it was just, I knew it wasn't the right fit for me, and I knew in myself I was failing at doing something that I wasn't good at. So for me, again, that's been a positive, because all that I've learned from that job, I've actually, and I can't believe it, been able to carry into my sales and marketing position within Simply Fit Food, which I never thought I would do.
So you obviously run the business with Luke, and he's your fiance as well. bling bling. So, just tell me, how do you find that? Because like my wife's self-employed. She runs a cookery school, and obviously I'm self-employed too. So, like, how do you manage that between the two of you? It's a bit like Cormac and Richard were saying, they've got very different skills, or how does that work for you guys?
Yeah, it's actually a little bit like, I could relate actually a huge amount to what they were saying. We have two completely separate skill sets. I am the mouth of the business, as you can gather. Luke is the brains behind the business. He's the numbers, the finance, the logistics, anything in regards to that, that's Luke. I am kind of the sales and marketing end of things. And I suppose the reason why, obviously at times it can be difficult to work together because sometimes you can clash on things, but it's also of massive benefit, as you can probably relate to, having somebody know how hard a day has been and coming home and them understanding. It's very hard when I used to live at home to come home and try and relay that bad day to your parents. They don't know, and it's not expected for a parent or another family member to know how hard a day has been. So it's of benefit to me having a partner that's Luke in the business to be able to reiterate those things to.
Well, I was actually going to ask you, so did your family, I mean, it sounds like they're very encouraging of you in terms of your attitude and your mindset and so on, but when you said, I want to run my own business, was it like you're an absolute lunatic? Pop yourself on and go and get
They thought it was crazy. They were like, you know, live in the fantasy world for the next 6 months and then move on. But they didn't realize 3 years later, whatever, where we would be. And I think, honestly, if I'm being totally honest, I think it took them 2 years, maybe 2.5 years to really realize, oh, okay, you've got something. Well done. So, and I don't blame them. Like, it can be a very scary thing, but the way we looked at it was, we were at a point in our life where, at the time, like, we didn't have a mortgage, we didn't have a family. We were lucky in that sense that if it failed, we really didn't have anything to lose. And if we weren't going to take the step to try to accomplish something that we felt was appropriate for the way the world is moving in regards to healthy fast food, we would never do it. So.
Okay, so can I ask you a question? We've actually had a question in from Deirdre O'Hare. So I think she originally sent it in for Richard, but I think the question is actually equally relevant for you, which is, like, do you target clients on social media, and how do you actually do that?
Clients?
Yeah, well, potential customers of Simply Fit Foods.
So our business has changed dramatically in the last 6 months. So we used to be an online-based healthy meal delivery company, and that would be directly delivering meals to the customer. Now everything has gone full circle, and now we're solely based in retail. So technically our clients are now the retailers. And in a sense, it's a positive because it gives us a lot more, I suppose, expansion to produce Simply Fit food, not just in Ireland, but at a national and an international scope. So the way we would target our clients would really be through the big meetings with retailers, more so than online. Online is really to just build a following to create a bigger brand.
And do you find that you get good engagement from people using Instagram or Facebook and so on? Is it a way for them to get comfortable with you, with the products? Like, how do you feel that works for you?
Well, one thing we were always told when we were doing social media and trying to build a following on social media was always be yourself. And, you know, obviously take snippets from people that you love to follow, and there's plenty that I love to follow, but always try and be yourself and portray your own image across social media, whether it is you eating a pizza every night, which we don't do, it's once a week.
That
was sugar, I needed sugar. Which we do, by the way. But it's always to be, you know, trying to be true to yourself. So, and I think that's something that people love, is that we're honest on social media, you know, like we don't necessarily hide anything. Obviously we have, you know, we don't share absolutely everything on social media because that would be weird. But, you know, we try and share as much as we can with people. And I think a lot of people understand that, and they engage with us even more as a result.
Yeah, I think that's so true, because like people, when they're buying your product, it's not just something on the shelf, is it? I mean, you've got that whole story behind you. It means so much more to you than just food in a box, as it were. So that's really interesting. So if you were to say, if you kind of pick one thing to, I mean, I know I'm guessing because this is your third time, you're going to say you should definitely apply for this. But do you have any kind of specific advice for people that may be watching this and still not sure about whether they should apply for IBYE this year?
Well, I suppose that question is definitely probably related to somebody almost in an idea category. You know, if you have an idea and you're not sure what to do with it, this competition will mold and direct you into the the right direction come the end of the few months.
Okay.
If you're like me and your head is usually all over the place a million times a day, it's a great way to just focus yourself. And time management is a massive thing within business, and it's only something that I'm still getting to grips with.
Yeah.
Almost 3 years on, and again, it's another thing that you learn within IBYE, and it's also aside from all of that, being in business, being self-employed is a really lonely place sometimes, as anybody who is self-employed is well aware of. Sure. And it's sometimes it's really, really nice, and it's relaxing and calming sometimes to be around a group of people that are exactly the same as you. You don't feel so lonely all the time, and you don't feel like you've made the wrong decision 3 years ago and you're still doing the same thing. So I suppose it does give you that little bit of self-belief, and making those connections. You know, there's a few people here that I still talk to from a couple of years ago.
Well, there's a great buzz. I mean,
no, there is.
Backstage, as it were, kind of all you guys.
They're friendships, you know, and I suppose that is something that you can carry through for the remainder. So yeah,
excellent. So I've got a question that I've been dying to ask you, because I really would like to know, and I suppose people might be interested as well about what. And I've not asked anybody else. So, but obviously you've won the competition, right? So you've been through. What did you spend the winnings on? So you kind of got this massive pot of money that's available to you. Like, what was your first reaction? Where do we need to put that cash, and what was your investment focus with it?
Okay, that's a big question, Rob. Okay, so that was going back to 2018 when we received that. Yeah. So Simply Fit Food was still growing at that stage as an online brand. Okay. And at that time we were dabbling a little bit in retail, but we weren't 100% sure. Yeah. So if I'm going to be honest, I feel the way we utilize the money could have been better in terms of if I was entering it now. I feel like long term, like I feel like the way IBYE prepared me in terms of how I was to use the money was really, really well done. I think going into it this year, I have my head a lot more screwed on in terms of where we need finance in the business to grow.
Yeah, okay.
In terms of getting us off the ground, I suppose it was literally just back then we were producing ourselves and we weren't outsourcing the product, and we were doing that 6 to 7 days a week and still delivering ourselves. And a lot of that was just to help cover overheads. Yeah. But honestly, when I say if we didn't have that IBYE winnings, we would not be here today.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point to mention, because you can always in hindsight look back and think, oh, I wish we'd done this, or I wish we'd done that. But you know, when you really just were focused on growing and making sure that things sustained itself. So thank you for being so honest there. Evan, that's just so interesting, and it's amazing to see you progressing so well and growing and developing the business, and hopefully you'll enjoy the process this year as well. You'll at least get to go to the open day anyway. So that's fantastic. So Evan, thanks so much for joining us. It's my actual pleasure now. We've got a competition winner that we have this evening. It was the last question. Forgive me, I actually don't think I mentioned the name, but the winner of the competition is Deirdre O'Hare, so well done. I hope you're going to get a huge amount of value for that, and that's the question that we asked Deirdre, although I think it was originally, Evelyn, we were originally going to ask it to Richard. So hopefully you'll find that really useful and really productive. And don't forget, you've got all the links down below as well on the ticker as well to stay in touch with us. So I suppose what I just want to do, if I've got just a minute just to talk to you for a second, I've been involved in this competition ever since it started, and I'm privileged, I guess, to work with some of these guys on an ongoing or weekly basis. And the amount of passion and enthusiasm and energy that you see from these guys is just unbelievable. And I think when I've seen it personally, you have people that, coming out of its shell sounds patronizing, but people that you can just see them growing and developing and going and doing things that they never ever would have expected that they have to do. It's just incredible. So I just on a personal level would really want to encourage you guys, whatever you're thinking, whether it's an existing business, whether you're established, or whether you've just got an idea in your head and you think, what am I going to do with this? This is a brilliant platform for you to get involved in. The support's there, as you said, the networking's there, the contacts, and it's not something that people feel they can just do once. It's something they're going to keep coming back to, either with, as Thomas was saying, with the supports with the Leo, or just in general from the IBYE competition. So I really would like to encourage you to do that. Just before we wrap up, let me just check my notes here. We've got the categories. I just want to remind you of, we've got best idea, we've got best startup, and we've got best established business. It's open for 18 to 35-year-olds. As Sarah said earlier, you can find out all the information on IBYE and obviously all the social media channels that are flying along underneath me. The closing date is the 15th of March, so you need to get organised for that. But as Sarah said, the application process in itself really doesn't take a great deal of time. So whatever your expectations are, just get online, get the application in, and you never know where this journey might take you. From a personal point of view, just want to thank you for joining us this evening, and especially want to thank all of my guests for coming in and being so honest about their businesses and telling us about their experiences. I hope you've enjoyed watching too. I certainly have enjoyed talking to everyone. So have a great evening. Thanks so much for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see all of you at the different boot camps going live across the nation in the next few weeks.